I'm on your property right now. You owe me money right now. You want me to leave? Then give us what you owe us, please. And then we leave.
I've never had a problem with anybody like this.
Like what?
No, that
Where they
you
do
told
where they
me-
do 95% of the job and then you
No.
stiff them half the money
No,
you promise them?
No.
Look.
When you wrote to me that you're gonna cut down the trees, you want to speak to my husband?
What's that? No, I just want to get paid and I want to leave.
Yes.
That's
here's
it.
your money.
That's it. That's it. That's all I
Yes,
want.
But you know exactly what I hired you for.
Exactly.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
if it weren't this, it was going to be something else that you were going to complain about, most likely. You're just waiting until the last minute to find a reason.
Seriously? Never complained about anybody. I always
I don't
said-
care because you're complaining to me right now, so I don't care what you do with the other people. What matters to
I
me is how you treat me. And you are very nice to me until we do the job, until it's time to get paid, and then you turn like another person. Because
Seriously?
Yeah, because I'm very reasonable with you. I just tell you that I can't get the last 6 inches.
Last 6 inches?
Yeah.
You didn't cut anything on top.
Anything on top.
Nothing
This is
you cut on top.
all the hedges I did.
No, I
All the
don't care
hedges I
what
did.
hedges you were supposed to
Yeah.
remove the tree.
Yeah, this is the people I deal with here. All this trimmed, because I can't get the top. Not good. Unbelievable. All right.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
This video is for Charles F. Gray and for anyone that's in their phases of being a struggling entrepreneur. So episode 6 of So You Want to Be an Entrepreneur. Shitty customers. So that was some fucking dumb bitch. We did all our hedges. They were fucking disgusting at first, by the way. And oh man, they were fucking terrible. They're disgusting. So for $600 we fucking evened them up. Her husband told us to do whatever we wanted. You know, he left it up to us. And we did a nice job, but the husband wasn't there. And I couldn't reach the last 6 inches. So we charged her $600 and she fucking freaked out about the 6 inches. And she said she didn't want to pay the whole thing. And I said, okay, so give us $550. And anyway, she wanted to give $300. And I was so pissed off at the end that I didn't even count it. I just fucking stormed off after. Anyway, there's a big fucking argument like afterwards, you know. I don't really want to get into it. It's not that I'm afraid to talk about it, but I got a lot of shit to talk about in this video. So, you know, I'm going to try to be brief. But yeah, she was a fucking bitch, man. And so she wanted to give $300 because I couldn't get that little fucking ridge on top. Which wasn't really part of the deal. Like, I would have gotten it if I could have, but her husband didn't care. He didn't mind if we left them natural. And he told us that we knew best. So, and I even tried. I tried to get it. I tried to make them nice and even on top. I couldn't reach, and she was pissed. So she gave us $300, but I didn't count it. I was pissed off, so I just left. And she only gave us $250. The fucking bitch. So, yeah, I said this is for fucking Charles F. Gray because he wrote a comment on my last video. And I'm going to read you the whole comment, and it's about angry cut. Well, here, decide for yourself. So he writes, Chatelet, what a lot of people don't talk about is customers that the entrepreneur doesn't or may not want ideally. Number 1, cheap Chad. Has wads of cash, makes big shot money, but wants to pay peanuts. Minimum wage in Mexico. 2, flat-assed broke Brenda. Has no money but hires anyway. At the end of the job, she says she has no money and will pay you the next day. Then entrepreneur spends the next 2 weeks, if not longer, trying to collect. The armchair warrior claims to be an expert and watches a job the entire time. Super picky on things that don't matter. Oh boy, I'm biting my tongue for all these, but I'm going to read them. Number 4, hoarder Henrietta. Old fridges in front yard. A bunch of rusted out vehicles in the yard. Feeds workers with food from freezer from when Elvis was still touring. Doesn't argue the price, but pays with check from the 70s. Check is probably good. Number 5, tire kicker time waster. Lives in boonies, calls for quote, and still doesn't hire after quote is done. Number 6, low baller BJ. Will go with the lowest offer even if job quality is crap. Number 7, looky-loo old hag. Not a client, but the old lady across the street who complains and complains to the city about the entrepreneur. Yes, Charles has been watching my videos for a while. Number 8, greasy landlord. Wants things done quick and cheap. Wants to pay peanuts, but also wants job done right away so he can be bargained with. Number 9, Electro Ernie. Has big-ass trees are gnarled within the power lines, bird's nest, and hornet's nest. These are considered hot trees, all caps, and are hard to cut due to these various obstacles. Electro Ernie knows this, but still wants the bargain basement price. He doesn't care if you want the good pair of jeans from Walmart, as he thinks George brand is good enough. Yep, I talked about that in the last video about work pants. So yeah, I've dealt with all of these fucking customers and more. I'm on the job right now for a mix. A lot of these customers aren't just one of these fucking types. They're a fucking mix. Like, everybody's an electro Eddie, because almost every job has fucking power lines that they don't fucking tell you about. And, you know, there are more fucking types of shitbag customers. But this type in particular, I chose this job. Now, the bitch at the beginning, again, is in her own category. But a lot of customers are like that too. They're going to fucking complain about shit at the very end. It doesn't matter what it is. They're going to fucking find something. And that's what I told the lady. It's like, you know, like, fuck you. So, this job that I'm on now that you guys are seeing, I was fucking broke, man, when I fucking estimated it in the middle of the winter, well, at the end of the winter. And I looked at it and I gave the guy my price. He wanted to cut down 5 trees in his backyard. You can see the stumps on the ground for like a couple of them anyway. We're not completely done yet. But he wanted to cut down 5 trees in his backyard and trim this tree that I'm in right now. Very light trimming. And he was on a schedule and he wanted to coordinate it properly and he wanted to know how much it would cost. So I gave him a price and he said we could leave all the wood, you know, because as you can see there's a forest in back. So we gave him a price and I said I would have to look at it, but he sent me pictures and shit, and the job is like quite a ways away. You know, it was like an hour away. But again, I was fucking broke as fuck. He doesn't know this, but he found out because I accepted the job. But I'll get to that in a little bit. So I gave him my price, and I said I would have to see it. But depending on the trees, like, you know, like around $150 per tree, and let's say $250 to trim the tree, because they were very easy trees to take down, and they didn't require any climbing. Now, when I gave the quote, there was no fucking balcony or swimming pool in the backyard, as you fucking see here. And he fucking lowballed the shit out of me on my fucking quote. My quote was for like $1,000, and he told me his max budget was $250. And I told him I could absolutely not do it for $250. But I went there and I took a look. Out of the goodness of my heart, yeah, right. It's because I was fucking broke. But still, I was curious. And I went there to take a look anyway, and I looked at it, and the trees were very easy to take down. So I adjusted my price, and I said, look, I'll do a light trimming, and I'll take down the trees for $350. It's fucking peanuts, man. It's peanuts. I said, but I'm leaving all the wood. Fuck, I'm leaving it right there. It's your problem. And he says, yeah, no problem. Well, no, he doesn't say no problem. He doesn't get back to me for a week. A week later, he gets back to me, and then he sends me a picture of the deck in the pool, and he says, oh yeah, I had a deck built in a pool. Would that be a problem? And again, I was fucking broke. And I said, well, it depends where they are, but I just wanted to do the job. So I rushed to do the job, and you can see the video of one of the takedowns called $40 per tree. And I took down fucking 5 of them. And they were gnarly, man. They were bad. And after he put the deck and the pool in, he put them directly in the fall path. So, you know, before the deck and the swimming pool were installed, it would have taken me literally 5 minutes to knock down each tree. And this way, it took me like over an hour to do each tree. And I fucking hauled ass, man. Because I was pissed and I didn't want to be there all day. And I took them down really fast. I took them down in less than an hour. But it was fucked up, man. And now I'm kind of chilling because I'm trimming this tree. And I trimmed a lot of it, you know. I trimmed like 30% of it. And I didn't hit the deck with any of the branches or anything because I still wanted to do a good job, even though the customers are shitbags. And at the end, she fucking complained that I didn't trim enough of it. And I explained to her that they lowballed the shit out of me and there was only so much I was doing for a certain price. And that my original estimate was $1,000. And I was to only do a partial trimming of the tree. And like I could, anyway, like whatever. So she called her husband and asked if what I told her was okay. It's like, yo, your husband doesn't decide, I decide. So yeah, they gave us $50 extra for all our fucking trouble. And they even had, like, the guy told me that he was going to coordinate with the deck guy. So that the deck guy wouldn't be there on the day that I told him that we would go. And then I asked, like, you know, is like such and such a date good? And he says, yeah, I'll make sure that you're alone in the yard that day. And the deck guy, he didn't even do that. The deck guy was there that day working. And they called us back after, and he says we did a great job, and he wanted to know how much to fucking trim the rest of the tree. And I told him like $1,000, and like he never fucking got back to me. What a fucking retard, fuck. And as you may or may not know, another MGTOW, Monk Music Don't Engage, is staying with us for the month from England, and he's learning the ropes of tree work, and you know, he's just spending his vacation here also, seeing Canada for the first time. And he came on the job with us a couple of times. He wasn't on this job with us. This is from a few months ago, but he came on a recent job with us. Another guy that lowballed the shit out of us. And this guy lived in the country, and I quoted him $750 for a job that should have been $2,000, and he lowballed me down to $500, and I told him $600, and he didn't want to pay $600, and he made fucking, but he did. And he kept adding stuff to the job, and you know, he wanted us to trim up some branches that were over a river in his backyard so that he could have a view all the way down the river. So I trimmed all the branches that he wanted to trim, like me and Mark, and then we went above and beyond because there were 3 or 4 that weren't really part of the deal, but it would have helped and it would have been nicer to get them out of the way. So we got a couple of them, but they were really hard to reach, and we couldn't get the rest. And we even put a fucking ladder in the fucking river, because the river is only 4 feet deep, but we put a fucking ladder in the river and we fucking stood on it, and we tried to reach them with a 16-foot pole saw, and we couldn't. And the tree was like really fucking hard to climb, and it was leaning over the river, and it was really thick, and the branches were sticking out through the top. And we figured, you know, because we did what the guy wanted, and we went above and beyond, like it would be good enough. It'd be more than good enough, but the guy wanted us to go all the way above and beyond. And he was out there in his window, like fucking which one? I'm going through. Oh yeah, the Armchair Warrior claims number 3 on the list. Claims to be an expert and watches a job the entire time. Super picky on things that don't matter. Exactly. That's like the engineer. You know, they tell you that they were an engineer because they start arguing with you about how they would take down the tree. And you're like, yo, dude, shut the fuck up, man. Go inside. Don't fucking bother me. And they're like, now, wait a minute. I was an engineer. I am an engineer. All right, cool. An engineer your fucking own tree, fuck, by yourself. And yeah, I've worked with engineers before. Like, they fucking come up with retarded blueprints and that can't work because they've never fucking been in the field for more than 5 minutes. Except for to give like the welder retarded blueprints that don't make sense, you know, and they tout their fucking credentials. Yeah, so it's like telling me that you have an MBA. So big surprise, this guy, the Armchair Warrior, did have a fucking MBA, Master's in Business Administration, and a degree in fucking philosophy. So it was no fucking mistake that he lowballed the shit out of me on this job. So he looks at this fucking giant limb, this giant stem of the tree, I should say, that's leaning over the river, that's like 1.5 feet thick. And it has like 3 little tiny limbs sticking out of it at the very top. And instead of saying, you know, it's cool, man, you did more than enough, just leave it, he says, you know, why don't you just take the whole fucking stem down? And I said, well, because I don't want to fucking have to pull the entire stem out of the river for free, you know? Like, I gotta charge you extra. And he says, yeah, but, you know, that was part of the deal to, like, fucking... And I'm getting pissed off at this point. It's the end of the day, and I just want to go home. So, yeah, like a fucking idiot, like, we dropped the whole stem into the fucking river, and then Mark fucking cut it up in the river, waist deep in the fucking river, and got soaked. And the guy stood there, and he looked at us, and he asked Mark, he says, do you have another pair of pants? And Mark says no. And the guy's like, huh. Like, he could have offered him one, you know? And then at the end of the day, well, at the beginning of the day, like, we were getting set up, and the guy had these 2 tables that his wife made that were made out of hockey sticks. And I thought they looked cool, so I said, oh, you know, nice tables. And he says, oh, yeah, you know, my wife made them. We're selling them. Like, you interested? And I was like, no, but, like, I'll ask around, you know? And he says, yeah, it's $90 for the big one and $50 for the small one. It's like, yeah, as if, fuck. You lowballed the shit out of me on this job, and I'm going to give up, like, half my fucking pay for 2 fucking tables made out of fucking hockey sticks? Like, fuck you, man. And again, with a smile on his face the whole time. And, you know, if you think that people aren't fucking you over because they're smiling, because they're nice, that's usually a good indicator. I mean, look at the circumstances before looking at like the way in which like they're they're delivered to you, because usually that's a very good indicator that you're getting fucked over in the ass, and that's why they're fucking smiling. That's why they're nice. That's why they can afford to be nice. Oh, but he's so nice. He was smiling the whole time. But it's like saying, but she was so pretty. She would never fuck me over. It's like, yes, that's how they can afford to do so, because they're fucking smiling. It's a thin veneer of kindness over like a bum fucking deal. And these people, they don't give a shit about you, man. And we all left, and we were like, oh, what a nice... And he ended up giving us the tables, you know, because we did extra work. That was a bonus that we got. He should have given us $2,000. But instead, we got $600 between 3 fucking people, and we were there for 11 hours, plus travel time. It was over an hour away, plus lunch, which cost $50, you know, for 3 people. And... plus all the Gatorades that we bought that you need to buy and shit like that, plus the supper after because you're fucking starving. And, you know, he gives us 2 fucking tables made of hockey sticks as a bonus that are quote-unquote worth $150. And, you know, we're so fucking brainwashed into it because, you know, it takes time to fucking snap out of this fucking mindset. But even on the drive home, we're all like, wow, what a nice guy, you know, we got these free tables. Oh, cool, man. We're gonna like put them on display. It's like, yo, fuck your tables, man. Give me $2,000, man. Give me what you should be fucking giving me. So that was a fucking armchair fucking warrior. Yeah, flat ass broke. Okay, cheap Chad. Has wads of cash, makes big shot money, but wants to pay peanuts minimum wage in Mexico. I had a lot of fucking guys like this. I find middle-aged males are the fucking worst because they're butthurt that on this particular job you make more money than them. And they're like, oh, because they always ask how much you charge an hour, and you tell them it doesn't work like that, or they ask how long it's going to take you, because let's say you quote them like $2,000 for a job, or even $500 for a job, and how long is it going to take you? You say, I don't know, maybe a day or whatever, and they're like $500 for only a day's work. It's like, fuck you, man. Like, honestly, that's nothing. Like, seriously, it's fucking nothing. Like, and I thought that at first. I thought, yeah, you know, I let them get to me, but it's bullshit. Like, for a day, man, if I'm working for a day somewhere, like, honestly, like, the ideal price I should charge is $2,000. I don't always, you know, I haven't really gotten that yet. The most I've gotten for a day's work is $1,700, but it was less than a day's work, actually. And that was probably one of the only times I got my price that I wanted, and it was fair. But it can happen. So, but now, you know, I get usually $1,000 like per day, and I even made a video recently that I made $500 per day. Well, I fucking stepped it up, and I could make more. I will make more because the jobs I'm doing are worth more than what I'm charging. But you know, baby steps, and this baby step, I've doubled my money. So usually, you know, like I used to have trouble last year getting people to pay $500, even if it was for 2 days of work. And they'd want me to go there 4 times, but now that I know what I'm doing and my gear is fucking really expensive and my setup is fucking nice and clean and organized, you know, I name my price, and like I don't have a hard time getting $1,000 for like less than a day's work. So yeah, I used to get defensive or like apologetic when these fucking fake fucking chads, these jealous fucking has-beens, fuck, or never was. Look, my dog's on the balcony, by the way. He's fucking awesome. Yeah, I get fucking like apologetic when they would refuse to fucking pay the price that I wanted because the very meager price I was charging was more than they made in a day. And I would say that I don't make that every day, just on this particular job, and I have operating expenses, so it's not all profit, which is all true, but most of it is profit. And second of all, fuck you, man. My job is fucking specialized. It's like in Wolf of Wall Street. Sell me this pencil. You have a pencil? No. Exactly. And I do. So, like, it's for fucking sale, motherfucker. I provide the fucking service. Otherwise, do it yourself. And we did a job a few weeks ago for a guy, real big shot, and I charge him $900 for a day, and I was equipped to climb 2 trees and to do like a light pruning on some other stuff, and you know, by the book. And I started to work, and he said, "What are you doing?" No, not like that, like this. And he wanted me to do it the shit way. I told him what he was doing was the shit way, and that not only was it the shit way, but like it was gonna grow back, and he was gonna have to call me again. and I couldn't charge him $900 for me to do it the shit way, because the shit way was going to take a third the time. So I'd readjust his bill if he wanted. And he, like, we almost got into a fucking fight because he's like, oh, well then I'll just call you back. And it's like, man, like, fuck you, man. Like, I have better things to do than empty out the fucking pile of dirt and just fill it back up because you want to watch me work all day. You know, almost regardless of the price. And it's not exactly the cheap Chad, because he wasn't cheap. And at the end of the day, he paid me $900 to do the job the fucking shit way. Now, I did it the nice way, but, like, still, you know, like, whatever, fuck. But I've had these fucking middle-aged men that are fucking butthurt and jealous that, like, I'm making more money than them. And it's like, okay, well, fuck you. Like, and, you know, I haven't even begun to charge, like, my fair price. Like I said, I'm working my way up. Like, it should be around $2,000 a day that you charge, like, if you're a fucking arborist and you're getting your fucking price. You know, unless you're learning, you know, and then there's a learning curve and you're going to take your time doing shit, but you still got to charge a lot. And then, yeah, we did, okay, flat-ass broke Brenda has no money but hires anyway. At the end of the job, she still has no money and will pay you the next day. Then the entrepreneur spends 2 weeks, if not longer, trying to collect. Yep. I had customers, or the customers that pay with checks. That's the fucking worst, man. Like, yo, you want to pay with a check, pay in advance. And, like, a great strategy to avoid all these people, or to take, let's say, 90% of the fucking edge off of them, like, to blunt them towards you, kind of, is to ask for half in advance all the time. Like, all the fucking time. And then it's not such a big deal. And a lot of the time, you'll do a job, and, like, at the end, they're going to nitpick about something because they want free shit done, or they want a deal, or they want to lower the price. So they're going to say, oh, you know, I thought you'd do that, and you didn't do that, so I don't think it's fair that you charge me what you were originally going to charge me. And, you know, like, it's like, fuck you, man. Seriously. And sometimes you get people that aren't around when you're working, which can actually be a blessing, because that's the only time you can do the job. And you don't want them to be around, really. You only want them around to pay you. And like I said, collect half up front, and that's not such an issue, because then if you go and do the job whenever you want, which is the whole object of collecting half up front, and it's to make sure you don't get fucked. So, you know, you get half up front, and then whenever you do the job, like, it's not such a big deal if you don't get the rest of the money that very day. So, like, it's good, you know, like, get paid half up front, and that negates most of these fucking problems. But I'm not there yet, man. I've only gotten paid up front once. So, it was a lot of money, though. It was $2,500, and that fucking felt good. But I couldn't believe it. I couldn't fucking believe it. So, anyway, I digress. So, yeah, sometimes, like, the people are not going to be there when you do the job, and it's going to take a while for them to pay you. And it's as if they're dodging you, and I'm not going to call them every fucking day. But the flip side of that, once I did a job for a guy, and, you know, I did it while he was at work, and, you know, it was clear that the job was done, and it took him like 2 weeks to get back to me. But I didn't chase after him, because again, I don't want to fucking chase after people, and it was a small job, it was $200, and I'd assumed that, like, you know, I was going to call him, you know, but I assumed that he was just going to fucking try to, like, fuck me over. And then one day I got a message from him, and he says, hey, I think I owe you some money, how much is it? And I said it was like $200. And he says, oh, I thought it was more, you know. I said, no, it's $200, man. I appreciate your honesty. And he says, oh, no worries, my friend. And he asked me if I accepted fucking e-transfer, which I did at the time because my bank account wasn't turned over to the collection agency. And, yeah, he paid me right away. You know, $200. I think he gave me extra even. So, like, that was cool. And Hoarder Henrietta, old fridges in the front yard, a bunch of rusted vehicles. Yeah, and doesn't argue with the price but pays from the check from the 70s. Yeah, again, I hate checks. Tire kicker, time waster, lives in boonies, calls for quote, and still doesn't hire after quote is done. This happens a lot of the time. Not so much now, but I've done a lot of quotes that don't go through. And always for fucking rich people. And they fucking... Man. They act flabbergasted. Like, when you tell them how much the job is going to be, even if you give them a great deal. That's why, like, have a fucking pad for estimates and give a breakdown of every job, because you're going to see you're not quoting enough. Count everything. And you can give a deal, you know, if there's 10 of one item, like 10 hedges to fucking pull up or something, and then there's like 3 trees to trim, and there's like fucking 2 trees to remove, and, you know, a bunch of other stuff. Like, you can give, like, you know, a 10 to 20% deal if they take everything. But you have to add that out, and like add up the cleanup, add the takeaway, add everything, because you're paying for this, and, you know, they're supposed to pay for it. Or, you know, even if one job doesn't pay for it, like, you know, ideally they're supposed to fucking, you know, fund your fucking business. You're not supposed to fund it out of your pocket if you don't fucking have to. You know, sometimes you have to, but only for, like, to tide you over as a placeholder. You should always have money as a float that's like for your business or like whatever. You know, sometimes you don't, but that's because you spend it on your business. But, you know, you re-up the float when you do another couple of jobs. So yeah, a lot of people, they fucking renege on the quote, and they don't have the permit, or they're not ready. I had a bitch fucking, I went to quote her fucking twice, 2 different times, and it was to do a big package job, and I quoted her, and then she did half the job herself, and she did a shit job, and she wanted a quote for just half the work, and I quoted her pretty much the same price, and she wanted to know why. And it's like, well, before I gave you a good package deal, and now, like, there's no package deal. I have to charge you individually for the services, and also I came here twice. And she wants me to go back a 3rd time so we can, like, talk about the quote, but I'm not even going back a 3rd time. It's a fucking waste of time. It's 20 minutes away, which isn't the end of the world, but I've already fucking driven 80 minutes over there, and she's gonna lowball me again for maximum $450. And yeah, fuck that. But I am doing a job for her neighbor across the street on the 27th, so she can talk to me then. And yeah, knowing when to walk away, that's a tough thing to learn, but you gotta fucking harden your heart, my friends, because not every job is a job that you want to do. But if you're fucked and you're starving and you're broke, again, and the fish just aren't biting, sometimes you don't have a choice. But if you can afford to say no, and you think you should say no, then say no. You know, wait for something better. Do something else in the meantime, even if that means relaxing on a day off. You gotta fucking enjoy life too. I'm not saying have a super high standard of living, but if there's something that you like to do, and you're stuck with a day off or some free time, instead of waiting until everything's hunky-dory and picture perfect and all the planets are aligned, like, that's never gonna happen. Okay? Or you're gonna be fucking 75 when that happens. So if there's stuff that you like to do it now. You know? Don't party every fucking day. Don't do anything that gets in the way of your work, but, you know, take care of your hobbies and your passions and everything that you love to do, no matter how idiotic other people tell you it is. But, you know, your days off, like, cherish them. And you're allowed to take days off, you know, just don't be a pussy ass bitch about it, and don't rationalize fucking being a slacker. But, like, personally, I've said it before a bunch of times, I don't want to climb trees 7 days a week. Fuck, I can't, man. It's fucking crazy. It's like running a marathon 7 days a week. And not even the professionals run. Well, yeah, okay, some of them run like 100 miles a day, but that's fucked up, man. Like, that's, you don't need to do anything like that. So, you know, I like doing this type of work as much as my fucking body allows and everything like that, but when I start getting tunnel vision and shit like that, you know, like, or you start going back to a job like 50 fucking days in a row and it's not paying you enough, like, then it's time to fucking take a break. So, yeah, now we have low baller BJ. We'll go with the lowest offer, even if job quality is crap. Yeah, I had a lot of these guys, fuck. The second job I ever did, it was for this crazy fucked up tree, and the guy lied to me. And I told him I couldn't do it because I wasn't equipped, but I would charge minimum like $1,000. And then he told me he got a quote for $200. And he wanted to know what I could do for $200, and I ended up taking off some branches for $200 and cutting down an entire tree and then doing some other shit, and it was raining all day. I was there for 8 hours, and it was an hour away, and all for $200. And he still wanted me to go up and do the rest of the crazy tree, the $1,000 tree, and at the end of the day, and I didn't want to do it. And the only way would have been to pull it with a rope. And I told him I didn't even have an extra rope then. I just had a climbing rope. And like the extra rope would be $100 minimum for 100 feet of rope. And if you wanted to buy the rope, that'd be one thing. But if you wanted me to buy the rope, then I'd have to charge him at least an extra $100 plus the fucking travel time and gas time and everything. And he didn't want to do that. Fuck. And this guy too was a fucking engineer, armchair warrior, big fucking genius. And at the end of the day, when I did my $200 worth of work, he wanted me to come back next week and do the rest of the tree. And I told him whatever he wanted to hear. I said, yeah, sure, just pay me for today. And he says, how about this? He says, I'll give you $400 total, and but instead of giving you $200 today, I'll only give you half of what you made today. That way you have to come back, and then I'll give you the rest next week. And I freaked out. I was like, no, pay me now, pay me now, pay me now, now, give me $200 now, or I'm going to fucking freak out. Pay me now. And he paid me, you know, but... And then he called me up later, and I got into an argument with him, and I hung up on... Or no, he hung up on me, I think. And yeah, I walked away from my second customer. So I learned like pretty early on that not all of them are worth keeping. Because what am I going to do? I'm going to fucking risk my life on fucking a job that I can't do for $200 and buy like all this material with money that I don't have? Well, it's fucking idiotic. Especially if I need the money. Then like, I know you have to spend money to make money, but you know, there are fucking limits. You can't spend more than you fucking make. Like, this job too was fucking asking for trouble. So, moving on. Looky little old hag, not a client, but the old fucking cunt across the street who complains and complains and complains to the city about everything you do, or the neighbor, or the landlord, or anybody, or the fire faggot. Yo, you know what? We moved twice since our last fire faggot across the street, and there's another one across the street from our new fucking place. How about that, eh? And we just did a job for a couple of nice people, and the neighbor next door calls the fire department every time they build a fire in their fire pit in their backyard, which is legally up to code, and they are not breaking any laws, but she does, and she said in front of us while we were there that she would call the police or the fire department every single time they called a fire, they started a fire, just because. So I got a call from the same customer that now hired me to take away the branches, because I did a job for them for a really cheap price on the condition that I get to leave all the branches. And now the neighbor complained, and I have to go fucking take them away. You know, I'm getting paid for it, but it's bullshit. So stupid fucking neighbors, man, they don't mind their own fucking business. And the thing is too, technically, I'm not even allowed to take this fucking wood away until October because fucking diseased. But I'm gonna fucking do it anyway, just to shut this fucking bitch up. And like, it's completely fucking counterintuitive. I shouldn't even be doing it, but I also want to make $200 for like an hour's work. And I could have charged more, but I like the guy. You know, and I told him the way it was. I said, you have to keep the wood in your yard till October. Tell her to shut the fuck up and I'll come get it then. Or the city will take it for free. But he wants to fucking appease her. So that's fine. And a greasy landlord, gaylord landlord, wants things done quick and cheap. He wants to pay peanuts but also wants the job done right away. Oh, these guys are fucks, man. My last fucking landlord, he wanted me to go give him a quote to like fucking trim and rig like fucking 12 trees over one of his restaurants that he owned. And I gave him the extremely Christian price of like $600 for $6,000 worth of work. I was very green back then. And I didn't even know like how to do 95% of the shit that I know how to do now. No joke, man. But I was willing to try. And he was an electro Ernie also. There was power lines all over the place. And all these heavy ass limbs needed to be rigged and tied. And I had not tied a single fucking branch then. You know? And I told him $600, and he wanted to pay $150 to get like fucking 20 trees trimmed. Yeah, this motherfucker, what a piece of shit. And yeah, the Electro Ernie, the last one, power lines. Like I said, every customer is an Electro Ernie. They all have fucking power lines and birds' nests and hornets' nests, and there's always shit that you don't fucking see. People fucking send pictures, but I stopped asking for pictures because they purposely take bad pictures and cover 2/3 of the tree. Anyway, I'm coming up to 35 minutes in, and I just wanted to get through Charles F. Gray's fucking list that he very thoughtfully fucking left. Go check out his channel. It's fucking awesome, by the way. So yeah, let me know, man, what kind of fucking difficult customers you guys dealt with. I've dealt with fucking all fucking kinds, and I'll deal with more kinds to come, and I'll keep putting them in a bingo book. So we'll have this database that we can work with. But please leave your thoughts in the comments downstairs. Charles, I hope you fucking see this video. Hope you fucking appreciate it. And until next time, Shadowley.